Deion Sanders' unfinished business with BYU. How Coach Prime's emotional admission sets the stage for redemption at Folsom Field, a season that still hurts. For Deion Sanders, head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, some losses cut deeper than others. And among all the games in his relatively young Colorado coaching career, few sting like the 2024 Alamo Bowl defeat to Kalani Sitake's BYU Cougars. It wasn't just a loss. It was a dismantling. A 14-36 blowout that left a bitter taste in Boulder. That game, played in San Antonio's Alamo Dome, was the first meeting between Colorado and BYU since 1988. A long-awaited clash that was supposed to herald a new era for the Buffs. Instead, it ended with Colorado limping into the offseason. Their momentum crushed, their promise unfulfilled, and their charismatic head coach left grappling with a broken vow. Now, 9 months later, that chapter is about to be revisited. On September 27th, the Cougars will storm into Folsom Field for a rematch that could determine much more than just a win or loss in the standings. Could redefine Deion Sanders' narrative in Boulder. And yet, Coach Prime refuses to frame this game as revenge. Instead, he's praising his opponent, his counterpart, and even the man who handed him one of his most humbling moments as a head coach. The broken promise that still haunts Coach Prime. In the lead-up to the 2024 Alamo Bowl, Sanders made a bold proclamation. He was going to break the attendance record at the historic game. The record, set in 2007 when 66,166 fans packed in to see Penn State battle Texas A&M, had stood for nearly 2 decades. Deion sounded confident back then. "I'm pretty sure we're going to break that record, because I know what Coach Sitake is going to bring to the table and I know how deep our fans come, so we're going to sell this game out expeditiously. So get ready to put a little tickets in the cut," he told reporters. But when the night came, his grand vision fell short. The 2024 Alamo Bowl drew a crowd of 64,261. Impressive? Yes, but not enough to shatter the record. Worse yet, those fans witnessed a lopsided loss that left Colorado fans heartbroken. That failure still gnaws at Sanders. For a man who built his brand on swagger, confidence, and keeping his word, failing to deliver, both in the stands and on the scoreboard, hurt deeply. Colorado's 2025 reality check. Fast forward to the present. Colorado sits at 2-2 heading into the BYU matchup. The Buffs are balanced on a knife's edge. A win could reignite their postseason hopes and inject fresh life into their campaign. A loss could send them spiraling toward another underwhelming season, one that critics would feast upon as evidence that Deion's prime effect is running out of steam. But Sanders isn't letting the pressure show. Instead, he's been surprisingly gracious in his public comments, choosing to heap praise on Kalani Sitake rather than frame this matchup as a grudge match. Prime's praise for Sitake. On September 23rd, BYU sports analyst Ben Criddle shared a clip from Sanders' latest interview that went viral among college football fans. In it, Deion gushed about his counterpart, BYU coach Sitake. "I consider him a friend. I consider him a dear friend and a God-fearing man, which I adore. Man of standard, man of principle, and a darn good coach and a good dude. He's gonna have his team ready." Sanders didn't stop there. He openly admired BYU's physicality and grit, calling them one of the most disciplined teams in the country. They've been playing superbly this season, even with a young quarterback. Defensively, they've been shutting things down and doing the doggone thing. Offensively, they're physical and tough, and that's the team I know we're gonna face. A physical, tough football team. I admire him so much. Played at a university, had an opportunity to play pro ball. Just a straight-up winner. He's a winner. It's rare for Sanders, a man known for his brash confidence and competitive fire, to be this complimentary before a matchup. It suggests that beneath the public humility, he is both respecting and fearing what Sitake's team can do. BYU's rise and the Cougar threat. And make no mistake, BYU is no pushover. The Cougars are off to a blistering start, cracking the AP Top 25 at number 25 after a commanding win over East Carolina. They've been running over opponents thanks to a balanced attack. Bear Bachmeier, the young QB, boasts a 66.7% completion rate and already has 4 touchdowns under his belt. LJ Martin is gashing defenses at 8.6 yards per carry, a staggering number that has opposing defensive coordinators losing sleep. Chase Roberts, the reliable receiver, has already hauled in 185 yards and is becoming Bachmeier's security blanket. Defensively, BYU has been just as dangerous. Jack Kelly has racked up 3 sacks, proving disruptive in the trenches. Evan Johnson has 2 interceptions and is playing with ball-hawking instincts. Logan Luchui leads the team with 15 tackles and is emerging as a defensive captain. Sure, critics will point out that these stats have come against weaker opponents, Portland State, Stanford, and East Carolina, but the Cougars have done exactly what good teams are supposed to do in those games: dominate. Colorado's weapons and QB1 drama. Colorado isn't coming in empty-handed either. The Buffs' offense is beginning to find its identity behind Kaidon Salter, who has taken firm control of the QB1 role following his electric performance against Wyoming. Against the Cowboys, Salter completed 3 of his first 4 attempts for 304 yards and also rushed for 86 yards, thrilling the 53,442 fans in attendance, Colorado's biggest home crowd in 17 years. That performance alone restored faith that this team can compete with the big boys. But BYU isn't overlooking Colorado's depth chart. Sitake has reportedly prepared his defense for all 3 Buff quarterbacks: Salter, true freshman phenom Julian Juju Lewis, and backup Ryan Staub. This speaks volumes about the respect BYU has for Colorado's offensive potential, and how determined they are not to be surprised. Accountability, Prime's new mantra. Perhaps the most telling sign of Sanders' mindset heading into this matchup is his new rallying cry: accountability. On the New Heights podcast, Deion laid out his philosophy for the week. Everybody's accountable, baby. Everybody's accountable. We got to step it up. We got to go to the next level. And you can't want the good, pretty, shiny stuff if you're not ready to do the good, pretty, shiny things. That's classic Coach Prime, part preacher, part motivator, part football savant. He knows this game could define Colorado's season. He knows the Alamo Bowl wound is still fresh. And deep down, he knows that winning at Folsom Field would be the ultimate statement of growth, redemption, and fulfillment. More than a game, a redemption story. At its core, this matchup isn't just about football. It's about Deion Sanders proving that he can learn, adapt, and bounce back from one of the lowest moments of his Colorado tenure. Last season, Sitake's Cougars not only beat Colorado, they outclassed them in every phase of the game. That loss served as a measuring stick, exposing the Buffs' weaknesses and showing how far they still had to go to be considered an elite program. This season, the Buffs get to measure themselves again. The stakes are sky high. Bowl eligibility, national respect, and Coach Prime's own reputation as a program builder are all on the line. The X factor, Folsom Field energy. One thing Sanders has going for him is home field advantage. Folsom Field has come alive again under his leadership, and the near-record attendance against Wyoming showed that Buffs fans are buying in. If Sanders can get his team to start fast and energize the crowd, Boulder could become a nightmare for BYU. Colorado hasn't had a home field advantage like this in nearly 2 decades, and Prime knows that riding that wave could be the difference between victory and heartbreak. What's at stake? Let's be clear. A win over BYU won't erase the pain of last season entirely, but it would send a powerful message that Colorado is not the same team that got blown out in San Antonio. For Sanders, it would also be a personal redemption, proof that he can make good on his promises, if not by breaking attendance records, then by delivering a statement victory. For Sitake, it's a chance to show that last year wasn't a fluke, that BYU's brand of physical, principled football travels anywhere, even into the heart of a hostile Folsom Field. Final thoughts. Deion Sanders might be downplaying the revenge angle, but make no mistake, this game is personal. It's about pride. It's about accountability. It's about proving that the Buffs belong on the national stage. As September 27th draws closer, Colorado fans are bracing for one of the most emotionally charged games of the season. Whether this becomes Deion's redemption story or Sitake's second triumph over the Buffs remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. This time, Coach Prime is leaving nothing to chance.